We're going to wait a few minutes because I know there's a few other people who are attempting to. A couple I know can't make it, but a couple are having connection problems and still a few who are supposed to be here. So we'll give it a little time.
Art sends his apologies from Australia. Art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mother's Day and all those things.
Yep. I think he has to be a child keeper again tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on, brother. I'll be right back.
We're not going anywhere.
Hey, Brock.
Hello, Peter. Welcome.
We're on Mother's Day. We're 9 a.m. Mother's Day today. So happy Mother's Day to all mothers.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn the recording off for a few minutes, Brock. What do you think?
We can just
walk on Tonka. All the names that people call you around the world, hear me. I am weak. I send this weak voice. I ask you in this time of trouble, this time where people are apart, I ask you to look down upon us, look down upon the Navajo nation that is being hit very, very hard right now. Look down upon us all. Smile on us, grandfather, as we send this voice up. And this unity of all, people of all, that have come together with one mind, one heart, one spirit. Grandfather, we ask for your blessings tonight. And we send this blessings up. And we send it to all peoples. Tonight is special, grandfather, because we are here. And here we will remain. Grandfather, we give this blessing and say that we love around the world. And we love our mother, the earth, and that we take care of her. Grandfather, in all goodness, we thank you for allowing us, and we are grateful, Wopila, that we are here, and that we were able to breathe, still see, and still walk this earth, Mother, that we stand on. Oh, Matako Ate.
Darn. I think I had myself muted. Sorry. So I heard from Art. Art can't make it tonight. He apologizes, but he will watch the recording and then he will be sending that around. We got a lot of reaction to the last time. So thank everybody who was here. Thank the 5 who started this a couple calls ago, which just by fluke. And then last time there was 11 of us, and that was some great discussion. And I think we'll carry that on tonight. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, so I thought this would be a great way to kick off that part of what we do. Why don't we go around, say a few words each to say why we're here, who we are, where we're at, and then maybe one of the ladies would like to say something about Mother's Day and feminine energy, or more than one as far as that goes. So who wants to kick it off?
I'll just jump in quick there, Jim. I sent a thing in the chat. Everyone, please mute unless it's your turn to speak. If you don't mute after you're done, I or Jim will mute you because it really affects the rest of the recording. Oh.
I have to remember to unmute when I mute. That's the only problem. Okay, thanks, Brock. So why don't you say who you are and why you're here, Brock?
Oh, of course, pick me. Ah, Brock, Sipikel, Piqua, Napu. I'm checking in from the Cowichan Territory, Western Canada, Vancouver Island, the biggest tribal territory in all of British Columbia. Welcome to the Life Bringers. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you.
Hmm. Oh,
We hold you up in a good way. Hajkasiyam, in the words Halkaminam of the Cowichan people. I'm here because I believe in co-creating community and whatever I can do to support this group and our honorable worldwide hoop during this coming together of all the nations. Oh, I'm in with that.
oh. Okay, we can go up and around the circle, so I'll take it next then. Jim Greywolf, here because it just seemed like it was time to create more of these circles. The first one just happened, I almost said by accident. We know that's not true, but it happened unexpectedly, and it was so powerful we did the next one. And we'll continue to evolve this. All of those who have been involved, feel free to stay involved, bring in others if you wish. I have no idea how it's going to evolve, and I really doesn't bother me at all. It's just in the time for plans, that's for sure. So thank you all for doing this, whatever this is that we're doing. So let's move over then to Rob. We'll go in a.
Is that me, you said? Am I the Rob you're talking to?
Yes.
Well, I was involved.
Rob, did you want me to introduce you? Just speak before you. You've just
Jim,
asked me.
I could introduce myself if you like, Peter. Is that okay, Jim? Okay, well, I just want to say that Peter was the one who invited me to this, and we've become good friends probably only in the last 3 or 4 months, because I spent some time in Canberra, in Australia's capital, at the the Aboriginal Tent Embassy in Canberra, and we had a hunger strike. I coordinated a hunger strike. We only struck for 36 days, but because we had to stop with COVID-19. But what I want to say is we stayed in the Aboriginal Tent Embassy, and I used to sit at the fire, especially when I was fasting. Early in the morning, I'd sit at the fire with Uncle Kev. And I'm a old white man. And I like to learn about respect. And it was wonderful to sit at that fire with him, because he taught me a lot. But I can see that I really don't know much at all. So I don't know. I feel like I'm here perhaps to learn about respect. Thank you.
Maya, you're next.
Called on me?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. I wasn't sure what you said. Hello, everybody. I'm Maya Shaw Gale. I live in Southern California, Santa Barbara area, and this is the land of the Chumash people. And I am here because Jim Greywolf invited me. I'm on the core council of Loving Waters with him. I'm a water carrier, water ceremonialist, among other things. And I'm just honored to be a part of another circle. I'm intersecting with a lot of beautiful circles these days, and it certainly is the time for us to come together. And I'm grateful for this technology that allows us to see each other and to share. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here. It's something that doesn't have a definite direction, but we're going to discover it. And I love being the part of startups, if you will, and listening for what wants to happen. So thank you.
Okay, Tanya.
Yes, I'm Tanya Wojtaszek. I'm in Colorado, and I am here because Jim invited me, which I'm really grateful for. And my interest, I've been feeling for a while, I guess, that circles are really, really important now, and community is super important right now. And historically, I haven't really had too much of that. I've had little bits here and there, but I'm feeling really that needs to just happen a lot more now, and we need to come together to create a little bit of a different world. And there's a whole bunch of things that I'm interested in, but mainly I would like to get involved in a bigger way. And what better way than just to start off than listen to people who have been there and who have done that, and that I can learn from. So thank you all for having me.
Very good. Thank you. Sue, it's sliding down to you.
I am Sue Graywolf Petruzzi, aka Grandmother Thunderbird. I'm here to really connect with others, to share what I know and what I can contribute, and also to really just help myself stay and walk in balance with everything so topsy-turvy. I feel that I tend to absorb more of what's going on around me than I would care to. So it's been very difficult for me to stay in a balanced state. So connecting with this group will help me keep my mindset in a positive, contributing way, and hopefully be able to share and contribute what's needed as we move forward.
Thank you. I'm trying to unmute people. It's not working. So, Brother Bruce.
Can you hear me? Hear me?
Yes.
All right, I thought you had me muted. Look, Yami, everyone. I'm from the land of the Eora Nation here in Sydney. My people, Morawari, Budgie people from northwestern New South Wales. I just want to tell a story about a mother's instincts. Mother's role in our communities is slowly disappearing. My mother is now in her late 90s. She still fishes, she still hunts, she still cleans, she still does all those things. She's very healthy. Mum was born under an old tree on the edge of the desert. She hasn't got a birth certificate. She was born like her people did for thousands of years. Mum walked the land. She cared for the land. She cared for the children. We had 13 in our families. And I pay great respect to my mum today. She's not here, but she's out in the country. She's doing well. She's staying safe from the COVID. That's good. But you know, she lived a hard life. But in our society, you know, traditionally, the women played many roles. They had big responsibility. They had a shared and equal responsibility in our society. The men didn't dominate over the women, or the women didn't dominate over the men. We all sat equally. And that's how our community survived for thousands of years. And also pay respect to our Mother Earth. but also sustains us and looks after us. It's a part of that caring and sharing and protecting what it has. And I just like to pay, respect to the mothers out there today that, being a mother is the most hardest work, hardest job in the world. So I take my hat off to them.
Thank you, Bruce. Well said. Cheryl. Yeah, it worked.
It did. Can you hear me? No? Yeah? My
Yes.
name is Cheryl Eagles Rainbow Eckley. I live in Maui, Hawaii. I feel very grateful to be here in Hawaii, where the predominant energy is First Nations, and that makes me very grateful. I am a community drum keeper, and I facilitate prayer circles with the drumming. And I met Jim and Sue Graywolf Petruzzi, gosh, way back in 2012 or 2013 at the gathering of healers in the reservation in Window Rock, Navajo. And that was the beginning of my journey being tribal. And I call it that because I think that it's a tribal community mindset that we need in order to heal the earth and to help heal one another and to uplift the energies that keep us sustainable and healthy. And I don't really know a lot, but I'm very open to learning as much as I can from beautiful elders who've been living the lifestyle, were born and raised, and traditionally have those wisdoms. And so I'm very grateful to be a part of all this circle here. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl. Peter.
Hi everyone, great to be back again with everybody, with our shared humanity. And like Bruce, I'd like to acknowledge Mother's Day, which when we take our human birth, the immediate agency of that is our mother. And that's a very, very important agency for us. Male or female, we come through a mother. And so Mother's Day is a very, very powerful Remembrance Day. And I acknowledge Bruce for mentioning that. And I also want to acknowledge Rob Bates' great contribution in Australia with his hunger strike for climate that he initiated. He's here today with us. Remarkable initiative, very brave and courageous and bold, in front of our national parliament, hunger striking for climate action. And proud to have him here, and great to be here as a climate activist myself and a spiritual practitioner and spiritual adventurer, I suppose. I'm always excited by the next movement of consciousness. And I'm on my knees thanking COVID for bringing us all together. COVID's brought us all together. COVID has kept us in our houses to meditate more deeply. COVID has stopped the capitalist greed for a moment. COVID has given us pause to think and meditate and contemplate. COVID has questioned the dictators, the dictatorships around the world and the hierarchies around the world, and stop them in their tracks for a moment. So I'm on my knees thanking COVID today, as well as acknowledging the great Mother Earth, and our own direct human mothers. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Peter. I see Jim came in. Hi, Jim.
Yes, hello. And so I got in late and I'm leaving. And I just wanted to say that it is my intention to be here. And things are calling me in another direction right now with some matters I need to deal with here at home. And It's an honor, a blessing. Happy Mother's Day to the women. It's a beautiful thing to see everybody's face and to have this connection. It's empowering and encouraging and uplifting for me to take this brief moment to tell you how grateful I am for each and every one of you. And I look forward to meeting those of you I haven't met yet in the future, and to continuing my relationship with those of you I have. So thank you. Peace and blessings. Stay safe. And yeah, have a wonderful meeting, and I'll talk to you some other time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, that brought the number back to 11. Just saying. So Charles is in and out, I see. He's struggling with connection. Okay, so Mother's Day is tomorrow.
I don't know what's happening.
I guess you're just not a good mother for Mother's Day, that's all. Yeah, and your whole thing actually on the board even looks different, Charles. I don't know either, but it's okay. You're here. And I can't mute you either. That's interesting. Okay, so tomorrow is Mother's Day. So I turn it
Let me
over.
do it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me all right now?
Yeah.
Charles hasn't spoke yet, Jim.
Oh, didn't you speak?
No.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
You keep going in and out. Go, Charles. This talking stick is yours, Charles.
He's a little frozen right now.
That's what I thought. He's having connection problems. And he's gone. Oh, well. Okay, so when he comes on, we'll just pass the stick to him right away so he gets a chance to talk. So whoever has it, just pass it to him when he gets here. He's messaging me on Skype at the same time. Okay, it'll work. So I'm going to pass the stick to the 1, 2, 3, 4 women in the group to share whatever we need to hear as far as feminine energy, Mother's Day, what we need right now. It's up to you. Whoever wants to take it.
I'll just jump in with my feminine. Tell Charles you can't use Skype and Zoom at the same time. They both use the same system.
Jim, I can go first because it's been so on my mind today. And I live in an artist collective. We live in 2 buildings that have artist lofts, and it's an unintentional community, meaning that everybody just ended up here and we all love each other and share. It's been the last 5 years, it's been such a joy. And today I was thinking a lot. I am a deep mother. I've mothered many people, but I have not had my own physical children. And I was thinking a lot today about all the women, many women my age, who have not had children in my circle. And just then there was a knock at my door, and one of the women came and brought me flowers. And she said she was bringing flowers to all the women that did not have children, but she wanted to recognize their motherhood. And I was so touched. And I had already been thinking of what I want to do for the others. And so remembering that nurturing, the qualities of mothering, I think of as protective, as nurturing, as just embracing, holding, loving unconditionally. It is a quality that men can have, women can have. And I've spent a big part of my practice as a healer, a therapist, a coach, helping men to find their own deep feminine and to find their mothering instincts and reclaim them, as well as, you know, supporting women to have self-respect for that as a very beautiful quality, and giving value, the value of being offering mothering to the world. And my wish this particular Mother's Day is that all the women be honored and all the men be honored in the fact of them holding men. You men hold the feminine too, and that we need more of this to bring that balance back. I love listening to Bruce sharing about, for thousands of years, living in balance, and somehow, you know, our culture got so out of balance. And knowing it's the time now, I'm encouraging all the women I know who've been sitting back to have the courage to step forward and come into more leadership. And so it's a different kind of leadership. And that's something I've been studying and exploring, is how do we lead as women? How do we stand in strength as women? It's a different way. And for me, the difference is the masculine energy comes in and makes things happen and steps forward. And for me, the feminine stands her ground and stands for what she supports. And so that's something I've been playing with, trying to teach people, and as well as I'm learning myself. So I love to hear what all of you say, and my wish is that we come into a culture like so many of the indigenous cultures that Bruce spoke of, that we come back into that balance. And that is my prayer and my wish for today in Australia, tomorrow for us.
Beautifully said. And it ties into many of the prophecies, as I was taught, that we have to come into balance now, male and female. No more of this, the men are in charge or the women are in charge. It has to be together, or we won't be able to create what we wanted. So I see Charles is back. So let's take a break, if that's okay, from the women speaking for a moment, and ask Chief to do a prayer and to say a few words.
Well, one of the things I would like to say first off is number one, happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to all women, and to all the women in the world. I wanted to relay that you are like the sisters to the earth and clothe you feet, you give birth. You do all the things the Earth Mother does. It's always up to me as a man and a warrior to always bow to the life giver, because without you, there would be no life. There would be no nations on this earth. There would be no life. And I was always taught in my culture that as far as a man is concerned, the right side of the man is the masculine side of himself. The left side is the feminine side of himself, because that is where the heart is. And with that, we have to understand the left side of ourselves as men, to always understand the woman and work together in that benefit. Now, I'll give this prayer up again. And I'm sorry that this technology has been kind of weird on me today, but I'll give this up. Wakantanka Tankashila, Gichimanitu, Buddha, all the names that people call you around the world, hear me. I send this weak voice, hear me, I am weak. I ask you, I thank you. I say Wopila to you. I'm grateful that you have allowed me to open my eyes this morning and send my voice up outside as I sent my smoke up with the pipe this morning. Thank Grandfather. I thank you for the Earth Mother I walk on. And I'm here to take care of her. We know many Wachoni, water is life, and we thank the water protectors, and we thank the waters. I thank the four directions, the four winds, and I am grateful. Wopula one more time that I'm able to sit in this council and hear the voices that I need to hear. And I thank you, Grandfather, for allowing the men and the women to talk together for the benefit of the whole, the male and the female. And I am grateful for that. Aho matakoasi. But also, let's not forget the Dene, the Navajo, that are having such a bad time right now with this virus. And we know we are here, one mind, one heart, one spirit, and this will come. It'll come to pass that we will come together in a prophecy that we have spoke of. And it's coming, and we are here. Aho, Matakwai.
Aho, thanks, Charles. And just because these things are going out to a lot of people, I'll just say that's Chief Charles Two Dog, who is the chief of the United Western Lenape tribe, centered down in Kentucky, but we're all over the place. So thank you, Charles. Okay, let's shift back to the ladies, and then we're going to go back to this indigenous element that Chief brought up. Who would like to stick?
I would like to say something. First of all, Brother Charles, I hope I say this correctly. Osiyo dohecho. I wanted to say something completely different than what's wanting to come out, so I think I'll just bare my soul to you all. I was raised in a family where women and children were abused and oppressed. And I didn't find my feminine voice until I was in my 40s, and didn't really embrace or appreciate that I was a woman. And so I became a very strong woman and learned to do things that men do, because I didn't want to feel that I was obligated to have a man teach me or do things for me, because I wasn't taught that through the role model I had as a father. I just want to preface that by saying I'm very grateful for my father, because through his inabilities to be nurturing and kind, he taught me to be just the opposite, and I'm very grateful of the person that I've become today. I realize how important it is for women to accept their value and their worthiness, that they do have a voice, and that for millennia their voices have been oppressed. And it is a time now for women to stand strong and to believe in the higher power that guides them, and to allow themselves to take on the leadership roles like Maya had suggested. I agree. That's been my biggest struggle, is to be able to speak up the things that I've learned and seen and witnessed through my life walk, that I may be a good example to help others to heal and to become stronger. Now that I'm a grandmother, I feel it's my responsibility to help my children and my grandchildren to embrace that the inequalities in life that we see on a daily basis, and to do whatever it is possible in our humble way to change those inequalities within our own actions and our own thoughts and our own words and deeds. And if I could do that one small part with just my children and grandchildren, then I know that there's a hope for the 7 generations to come. And I know that it's all taken in baby steps. And we have had a lot of strong, powerful women leaders over the years, beautiful women of color who were oppressed way more than I could possibly imagine in my small example of life, who have stood out and been role models for me to say, yes, I am a woman, but I bring life. I love the earth. I love the children on the earth. I love all of nature. And that is my strongest, my biggest armor is my love and my compassion and my unconditionality with everyone. We are all family. We are all one. We are all united. There is no difference in who we are. We all bleed the same color. And I try to be a good role model with everyone that comes into my life. And I'm especially drawn to the youth because they are our future. And yes, we have the wisdom, but they, as I had mentioned in our last conversation, they have some amazing ideas about the healing of this planet. And if we can just continue being those role models and continue being the nurturers that we are, women just naturally, most of us are very nurturing and loving and just embrace everyone. If we can continue to do that, then we are bringing back the old teachings of the matriarchal societies that had already embraced those concepts and had lived in harmony for so very long. Then we will, I believe we will be able to rectify all that has gone wrong with this system. And I just want to say that I'm so grateful in this time of my life to be around men who do uplift women and who are feminine in their own masculinities. I find that a man who has been able to embrace his nurturing feminine side is a very strong, powerful being. And it makes me feel uplifted to be around brothers who are willing to acknowledge that their sisters are important and are valuable to the evolution of humanity. And I just want to say thank you for being the brothers that you are and for sharing those wisdoms with us.
Thank you, Cheryl. Beautiful and powerful. Sue or Tanya, either one, have anything to say? You don't have to say anything, but.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I so relate to everything we've heard so far from Maya and Cheryl. And Cheryl, I very much resonate with your journey. Sounds like it's very similar to what mine has been, and learning to speak up, learning to embrace my feminine side. Because when I was a teenager, I was very unhappy that I was stuck in a feminine body, because all I could see that was a bad thing because of how women were treated where I was around. And now I'm so grateful for this gift of this body, and that I get to be this time around. And I am feeling so blessed and so fortunate because I get to work with someone who helps women step into that. She's helped me. I was a client of hers, and she's helped me to become more in touch with my feminine side and balance out the massive imbalance that I had in myself. And now I get to actually work with her and help women step into that. But I've been feeling for a while I think that's really, really important, I've been feeling for a little while now, it's like we need to be there already, right? Like now is the time we actually need to be there. And really step into it in whatever way each individual woman is feeling called to come together with men and with the masculine, and so that both can be in equality. And I've been following some of the feminism sort of, there's different trainers of thought and different sort of directions and or shapes that takes. And I haven't really resonated so much with some of it. That's felt actually quite masculine, where women are trying to turn into even more into the masculine just to be equal. And to me, the equality is in being ourselves, and is in being feminine. And that's where the equality is, where we can bring the balance, right? And like somebody said before, the balance in each individual person, and then to the greater community. And I've been feeling the balance piece for a while, how important that is. And it's been so funny because the person I work for has just shared that we're now shifting focus a little bit, and will also be including the masculine in a different way than we have. So it's like, oh wow, that sounds so right on. Like, I'm so excited for that, because it just really needs to happen to have that balance. And yeah, and I'm not I haven't had my own children either, but I definitely feel like I have mothered or nurtured, or however you want to call it, and so I feel fulfilled in that way, in the way I've been able to participate in this way. And I feel like it's all shifting now a little bit in the way that is happening, and that I get to bring a different sort of perspective that I get to share with younger women. And that's actually been happening. I didn't realize it up until now that I'm saying it. It's actually been happening, and I feel so grateful for that opportunity. And again, so grateful to be here as well, and to be able to share and to hear what everyone else has to say. It's always so enriching to know other people's thoughts and where we all stand. It just creates a much richer sort of experience. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. We are creating the new reality as we do this. And I'm just so thrilled to be a part of that. Sue, did you want to?
I can so relate with all three of you, as far as, especially Cheryl and Tanya. You know, from a young age, from a child, I was verbally abused, and it pretty much continued into my adulthood. And I didn't have a voice because I shut down. And I didn't really start finding it until I was in my 40s, early 40s. And I started finding my voice when I had an opportunity to work with a pack of wolves at a farm in New Hampshire, kind of a zoo type place. And by working with them, being up close with that pack, and working with two of the pups, I educated myself. I educated myself about wolves, and I was able to find my voice right along with them. I would teach at their enclosure. I would teach people coming, visiting. I'd be right in with the pack. I could touch them, hug them. It was just an amazing experience, and I did that for several years. And that was the beginning of my journey for finding my voice. But I really started to grow when I met Jim and connected with the Hoop of Many Colors drum, the big drum that I have, and could start singing and start opening up. And it's still a long journey, and it's a long, hard road to be able to feel strong enough. I still struggle with the balance with the male and female within me. I tend to be more on the male side than the feminine, and it's definitely a challenge. But you know, I just continue growing and changing. And I know with Mother's Day, I do have a son, and I have 4 beautiful grandchildren. But I feel all mothers on Mother's Day need to nurture themselves. That doesn't matter if you have children or if you don't. Do something special for yourself. Do something just for you. Because we do this for the Earth Mother, because we're nurturers. Women are nurturers. We connect to the earth. We connect to the elements. We connect to the wildlife, all life. And I just feel it's just so important to really connect with ourselves and try to be who we are meant to be, grow and change and just evolve. And that's what we're all doing. We're all evolving, becoming more of who we are meant to be while we're here walking on this earth. And it's a beautiful road. I don't regret anything that I've been through. It's been a hard life and journey in many ways, but I don't regret any of it, because I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't have that. And that's the whole idea of growth. It forces you to move forward, to advance, to do what you need to do for yourself, so you can create the reality that's needed for you, so you can help others in the process. Because if you're stuck and you feel idle and you don't feel connected to yourself, you cannot connect to others and give and do what needs to be done to help others.
Oh, thank you. Wow, great by all of you. Wonderful wisdom. I just saw some emails that I hadn't noticed earlier, so I just want to share that we had two Indigenous relatives from Africa who were to be here today, but they're busy working on tribal issues there. They're also big time suffering from this coronavirus, and also some other issues that are cropping up there. So they sent their apologies. The folks on Pine Ridge, we were going to have two people here from Pine Ridge. They're at a huge community meeting tonight because the governor of South Dakota has threatened to sue the tribe and to come in and forcefully make them remove some barriers they put up on the highways to check people as they go onto the reservation to make sure they don't have the virus. So that's happening right now. And right now they're meeting on this because they do not want to take down the barriers. The Indigenous tribes are really in bad shape, as Chief Charles was saying. And it's not just the Dene, the Navajo, it's the Hopi, and it's the Apache down in the Southwest. It's Standing Rock and Pine Ridge up in the Dakotas, and I'm sure it's many of the others. It's some of the smaller bands that I know in Northern California. And I'm going to turn this over to Bruce in a minute, if I may. But you know, we're changing this a bit, but not entirely. To me, the indigenous populations are, in one way, all mothers, because they're the ones most closely and directly related to the Earth Mother, the Big Mother. And I've always found that by birth, I am Romany Gypsy, and I've explored that more lately. I've actually talked with two people who are Romany Gypsy. That is my DNA, but I haven't lived that life, so I don't consider myself active Romany Gypsy, but I'm learning more about that culture, and it's the same story. Yes, they have been called vagabonds and wanderers, but that's only because they've been persecuted and prosecuted everywhere they've lived. Most of them were killed off some years ago, and most of the rest of them were killed around World War II by the Nazis. My grandmother was a clan mother and was a medicine woman. She and that part of my family came here because of that. I didn't know that until I was in my 20s. So all these indigenous people are facing this right now. I know it's going on down in Australia and New Zealand as well. And so, Bruce, can I turn this over to you? I know you must have more and better and deeper thoughts on this than I do.
Hear me now? Yeah, look, I think we're going to, us as male, I think modern society need to start to go back and start respecting and acknowledging sacredness. Our female, our women in our society are sacred. So we've got to treat them as sacred, just like our Mother Earth. They bore child, they care for us. Nothing's more than a mother's love. And I think we need to go back to the old way of teaching. In Australia, we call it men's business and women's business. As we look around today, a lot of our young children are lost, especially our youth. We need our old elders, our women, to take those young girls and do women's business. They need to uplift and talk about the things that they suffer in their lives. And I believe we need to look at the old way of doing things again. The women need to go back and do women's business. I cannot talk about women's business because it's not my right in my community. It's a women's right to talk about that. But I think their role has been, especially in our young girls now, I see here in the big city, a lot of our young girls and boys are now lost. So we've got to take them back to the sacredness. Women, female, have that connection to the female, things in our natural environment that I think they need to connect to, stay connected with. I mean, the men also need to do the same. Look in our society, the men, especially my mother and her grandmother, they were very strong women. We weren't allowed to talk back to those old women because we'd have been disciplined really bad. And that's the respect that we need to get back in. We need to be taught, teach our children those old ways. So our old people, especially the old mothers and the women's, had special knowledge that were passed down through generations. Those special knowledge were only given to females to be able to pass down to their children and to the future generation. I believe that we shouldn't stop that. I believe that our mothers should get back to those teaching. Stay connected to Mother Earth. Stay connected to those energy, female energy. Those spirits out there in nature that guides us and protect us in our daily walk. But look, us as males also need to protect the sacredness. Our females or our opposite are a part of us. We become one spirit. Without the other, we can't live without. So I think we've got to change the world we live in. We've got to stop the injustice against our females. Here in Australia, our jails are now full of a lot of female First Nation people. The female population is now bigger than the male population that's been incarcerated. It's because we got away from our old way of teaching, the coming together of women's business and men's business. COVID, now, because we're suffering from COVID, I think our roles as male and females have now been challenged. So I think we need to get back and start listening and acknowledging our elders and our women in our society.
Thanks, Bruce. I knew you would put that well. Yeah, I totally agree. And as Chief was saying, we all have a left and a right. We all have a masculine and a feminine. And I think it's really important to balance ourselves. How can I balance with another man or another woman if I'm not balanced within myself? And so I try. I give it my best shot, being another imperfect human. But I do think, Bruce, to get back to these things, I agree with what Peter was saying. As horrible as this coronavirus is, it's also a huge gift. It is giving us the chance to come together and start creating some of the things, because we see none of the current ways are working at all. None of these political systems, educational systems, or religious systems that are set up on the European plan are effective. And so in that way, I give thanks for this coming through. I'd never wished it on anybody. I was asked today to connect with a young woman. She's 21, and I'll be doing this in the next day or so. She was, by her own words, very glib about this virus. And, you know, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'll never get it. So I'm not going to do the distancing thing. I'm not going to just stay home. I'll be careful, but I'll never get it. Well, she now has it, and it's quite bad. She's in the hospital. They thought she was going to die. She's made it beyond that point. But it's a matter of, it's not going to recognize anyone. Yeah, primarily it takes out people in my demographic, but it can take out anybody. So if we recognize we have to reestablish that energy, we have to come together to create a new way, which is the old way. In the White Otter Academy that I've created, from which Charles and I are doing our programs, and we'll be doing more, you know, that was the big purpose for me. How do we combine the wisdom from the past with good positive things in the present to create something in the future that's better? And in many ways, it's what you're saying, Bruce. We have to go back to the old ways. However, that doesn't mean we all go and live in tents again, to me. It means we take the things that are good today, and we've been hearing them from you all so far, the things that are good and positive, and we put them with that, so that the old way we now use is a better old way than what we've had in the past. That's just my thought. Anyone else want to take a stick on that one? Talking stick? Chief.
Well, the past makes us as we make our future. So we live in the past, present, and the future in many ways, okay? Now, Bruce, absolutely. I have grown to love you in the last couple of shows that I have been on with you. I honor you, grandfather. Thank you for the wisdom you gave me. And I do give my heart to you. Now, let me say it like this. Tatanka Yotanka, he's Humpapa of the past, the grandfathers. He said, we do not own the earth. The earth owns us. And that's true in many, many fashions. But my nation is Metroorical, okay? We're a Metroorical nation here. In other words, even me as a leader, if I got anything heavy I got to do or talk about or something going to happen, I actually have to, I go and talk to the head clan mother and get her advice and take her advice, okay? Now, in the past, when they saw these clan mothers and how we listened to them, they thought that had to be destroyed as fast as possible to get rid of that clan mother system here. In my nation, it's brought back. But in all things of this manner, all right, what has been done in the past has been done now. It's been done right now. And I hope not the future. I don't want that for my children. But I have been called everything in the book. And I'm from here. But my daughter hasn't. So that's what's made it better. So what I'm saying, in a lot of ways, and I do it this way also, a lot of times when we go to shake your hand, Okay, just say it like this real quick. When we go to shake your hand, I don't shake your hands with my right hand. I shake with my left hand because that is where my heart is. And if I was told by my grandfather a long time ago, you don't give your word much, but when you do, you keep it. And that's not been done here either. So we as men, I learned to live with the venom inside of myself to understand the woman. That's what it's about. That way we both can have what's going.
Thanks, Charles. Excellent. Anybody else want to take the stick? And then I'll come in and welcome our new participant. Brock.
Yeah, a piece that Bruce touched on. And for me, this is a real sad time of year. Some may know I was stolen from my mother as a 1-year-old baby because my father was red-skinned and my mother was very fair Celtic woman. But what Bruce brought up for me is the importance of the elders in our community. So I'm a visitor here in this community. I come from Middle Canada, James Bay. I'm a Cree man. So when I'm here on the territory of the Coast Salish, I don't speak unless spoken to. And that's part of the tradition here. I get involved in some very big drumming groups and go out on the pipeline and down to the legislature and places like that. And often I'm asked to speak and I can't do that. It's not my place to speak in another man's territory. But I really honor the difference of the old ways when we as warriors would gather together, us men, and hash out our differences. And then we would go to the clan mothers and honor whatever it was they had to say, no matter what it was us men come up with. The final okay or not came from our clan mothers and our grandmothers. And we see that here in Canada. The difference between chief and council and hereditary chief. So chief and council, we've seen a lot of that to do with the XL pipeline. But the final decision comes down to the hereditary chiefs. And they're not about to sign over a piece of their land to anybody's pipeline. And that's the true wisdom and the history of the past that comes from our hereditary chiefs that are lineage of 1,000 years compared to a chief and council that's elected every 2 years. So I just want to share that that's so important. Not only the old ways, but the old ones. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Brock. Well said. I see that we have another friend joining the circle. I think he's there. Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Ah, could we welcome you to say a few words, where you're from, why you're here? Charles and I know you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jim, and thank you so much, Charles. Thank you for having me in the circle of elders because as an African, where elders are upright and where elders speak out, life or existence will continue. I totally agree that the world should begin to see wisdom in using the principles that elders have used to run our natural resources and govern ourselves. Clearly, before every one of us, we can see that the system of government that we believe are best are really not best. For the first time post-industrial era, governments are struggling to fulfill their collective responsibility of creating conducive environments for people to prosper. The energy they have generated over the last 150 years has been negative. Competition, war, conflict, spread of disease. They've even gone as far as trying to play, the creator. They themselves were created, but now they want to be like the supreme creator. So I'm happy that the circle is beginning to realize some of the challenges that the elders here have always spoken, that we should return back to how our ancestors and how natural we have lived our lives. We should return back to the communal way of governing ourselves. The style of governance that we know today is not working. It is unfortunate that COVID had to come to expose that. As an African myself, that supports the premise upon which elders govern and decide the fate of community in the interest of existence and sustainability, I am praying to our ancestors that they show mercy on us, especially to the indigenous people in Navajo, in Hopi, and the Apache people, to show compassion on all our residents within our territory, and to help expose all those that constantly perpetrate themselves as defenders of the people. And we pray to the ancestors that this COVID infection or pandemic will blow away. This COVID infection and pandemic will be resolved, and that Mother Nature will give our people the immunity and give our people our master plan of ensuring that we are emancipated. Thank you for allowing me to join the circle. We pray that our elders will constantly be the arrowhead of liberation and progress in a system as we have here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. I know you as Chief Daniel. So how do you pronounce your last name? I apologize, Daniel.
Yes, Wuji.
Wuji. That's what I thought I remembered, but I'm lousy at names, as you might remember. So it's awesome to have you here. Thank you. Pardon me. So we have multiple continents and countries represented here tonight, as I thought we would. And even with poor Charles having to go in and out, we keep having that number 11, which of course is the spiritual rejuvenation and rebirth number. So no coincidences. You're all here for a reason. You know, when the invite goes out, those who know they need to be here show up. And so I just want to thank you all again. I know we're all putting a couple hours in our pre-Mother's Day Eve. Is there such a thing? I don't know. Sounds good. So it's going to be shared all over. I put a note in there. I'm getting messages that we've got at least 3 of the large youth organizations who want copies of this, and I promised I'll send them to them. There's a very big Frequent Friday gathering meeting on online going on right now. So most of them are doing that. Others are actually doing some other work. So I'd hoped a few of them would be here, but it doesn't matter. They're connected to us, and I'm connected to them. So we'll make sure they get it as well. I'm still hoping we get some of the young ones to actually show up and go one-on-one with us here. And I know we will sooner or later. I thought Zelly Bean would be here, but I wasn't able to reach him the last couple of days. He's down in Australia as well. So does anyone else want to chime in here? Any of the feminine parts of this circle? Want to say anything to what Bruce said or Brock? Or start a new change? Peter, go ahead.
Thanks, Jim, and everyone. It's been a great sharing this morning. I think from our Celtic, white perspective, therapy has become very important, psychotherapy. And I was reading Master Gurdjieff, and he said, you can't move on until you've forgiven and love your parents, mother and father, till you love your mother and father, and I would include grandparents as well. And often we have a resistance or a grudge or some, some sort of anger at our parents and mother and father. And I think we're kind of a prisoner of our own resentment, a prisoner of our own resistance to our mother or our father or our grandparents. And it's only when we forgive them and we move on that we can move on in life. And I meet a lot of people who complain about their parents, and I notice that they're still governed by that anger or that they haven't been able to move on. And so I think the role of forgiveness and therapy and surrender to what happened is very important. And I notice Eckhart Tolle now he's got his own television station where and part of his teaching is saying yes to whatever is arising, saying yes to it. It's a huge surrender. And I find that a very, very powerful teaching because we can move on. And there's a lot of paradoxes here involved, I notice, in our discussions. There's a paradox between past tradition and then moving on to a future. That amazing paradox about going backwards to our tradition, yet we've got to move on to a new beginning and a new future. There's a paradox between acting local and then thinking global. There's that paradox. There's a paradox between, the particular and the universal. I have my own spiritual Zen practice, yet I need to be universal. So we have these amazing balancing paradoxes. Bruce talked about the balance paradox between male and female. So it's an amazing, in our Zen tradition, they say we're always sitting with paradox, always sitting with that koan. It's neither one nor the other. We've got to manage both together in this dynamic interplay of whether it's the past and the future, tradition and the new vision. And so to be inclusive, include the whole thing. And I always say to my group here that when we meet, we've all got to practice to our highest level of understanding at any moment. We're all practicing to our highest level of understanding in any moment. And that often really requires us to let go of the past baggage we're carrying as well. So it's been an interesting discussion this morning. I've really loved it. And new members and great contributions from the mother side of things, and very powerful. So thanks.
Thank you, Peter. Does anyone have a sense of what else we need to dig into? Maya, please.
Just thank you, all of you. I'm so grateful to be in the circle today. Peter, when you were speaking, all these things were popping up for me, and thinking what you were describing about the paradoxes, or you could say the dualities. But a quote that I've always loved from Carl Jung, the psychologist, he's the measure of maturity is the ability to embrace ever greater and greater paradoxes. And I think we're in a time when our whole culture has to mature. We've been sort of in an adolescent phase or something. And this ability to do that, which is like coming out of duality into integration or union, it is so needed. And one area that is particularly, I guess it disturbs me, and I know it's so needed to reach back and get the principles and the values of the old ways, of the indigenous ways, is in the area of science and technology, because that extreme out of balance masculine has been pushing us pell-mell into this future with artificial intelligence. And it's like there's no lost complete respect for the human body and the mind. It's like we have to put a chip in you to make you smarter and alter your DNA and all of that stuff. It just is like so weird science fiction. But there's people who involved with this, it's like they've lost so much their connection to Mother Earth, to nature, to the whole ways of nature in the cosmos, that the hubris to think we have to reinvent the human, we've got to bring it together with the machine. And it upsets me so much. So I have to come into forgiveness, Peter, and say, like Jesus said on the cross, Father, forgive them because they know not what they do, because they really are lost. They have no idea what they're about is leading to devastation. And so I'm praying that, I pray to my ancestors every day, help us not go down that road, and to bring that wisdom. So scientists and technologists who are so excited about discovering the next thing can slow down and say, like the indigenous peoples do, how will this affect us 7 generations down the road? How does it affect our children, our bodies, the earth, the other beings here? And I so pray in that area, because that's one of the areas moving faster, it seems, than anything, that we need to slow down. So I am praying again that this pause that the COVID has brought will help people to wake up, to see, and to evaluate that direction, and to be able to say, no, we don't want to go down that road. And so you can hear in my voice, I feel very strongly about this, and I don't know exactly how I will participate to help bring that awareness, but I pray that I'll find a way to help people wake up to this and help the balance in those areas come back. So,
I think you are right now, Maya. Yeah, it's I totally agree with you. We're so out of balance. And the way I was taught by many of my elders, but certainly by my Lakota teachers, was we've been this huge pendulum through all the different earths. And masculine takes over and men control, and it swings, but does it find balance? No. Feminine takes over, women control. Men, women, we need to be here now. We need to be here now. Because it's the tipping point time. We either do it now or we don't do it. Powerful words here. This is really amazing. Daniel, I'm just wondering, do you want to fill us in on what is going on in Africa right now? Anything else we don't know, like in so many places?
Yes, I want to thank Maya for her contribution. And if you are following the chat, I totally support what she's saying, that we need a reset button. But the question, before I go into what's happening in Africa, the question is, how do you reset a button? You must know what needs to be reset first. And that's why elders are supposed to stand in the gap and tell the kids that are pressing the buttons of destruction, there is a time for us to reset. So the only way we can reset the button is if we know how far we have drifted, if we hold people accountable, and if we start to train the next generation of indigenous people to seize power, and then see how they can now get total autonomy, exist within a state, but exist on your territory. Yes, it's good. We have a bit of leeways. There are some areas that the indigenous people have control, but we know overall policy, governance, funding are not in their hands. We still need to help. And then to connect it with the African story, the African indigenous people, we do have indigenous people in Africa. They're being downplayed as not being indigenous because most of them are sitting on resources that Western world feed off on. From West Africa, in Ghana, in Sierra Leone, in Nigeria, where I come from, to as far as in Ethiopia, in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Uganda, in Tanzania, and in Portuguese-speaking Mozambique. Each and every one of us have a common feature, that what they have taken out of us and what they have given us in return is just sickness. They took all our cocoa, they took all our oil, they took all our palm trees, they took all our big trees, and they gave us HIV, they gave us tuberculosis, they gave us cancers. And from what Maya has said, it is time that maybe our messaging should be, indigenous people just want a reset button. Let us just reset. We're done fighting. It has not helped us. And I like what Chief Jim has said. It is an all-inclusive concept. We now need the feminist agenda. Maybe we are just defining feminists from the concept of learned people. I know that Mother Nature sees everybody as one entity. You know, so it is the English and the Western ways of life that says, oh, this person is different. We're all part of a community. And the reason why the tag on man and woman is to define the level of responsibility. It is not to give you a status per se, you know. And then, of course, the way we govern ourselves is through elders, and it so much falls on the responsibility of men to be the arrowhead of the community, you know, while the women lay foundation for the sustainable growth, you know, the lengthening of that arrowhead. So I totally agree with Chief Jim that the need and the emphasis now is for us to work together as one, and for us to have, and I suggest for us to have a messaging that it is just like Maya said, it is time to press the reset button. It is time to return back to how our ancestors have governed us, have allowed us to make decisions concerning issues. It is time to respect Mother Nature now. It is time to stop playing the creator role when you are the one creating. And so for the African continent, I will plead that we all also put us in prayers. As you are well aware, that our own case is more worse than the indigenous people here, either in Canada or in the US. Why? Till date, our testing in all the continents is not over 50,000. And we're already having rising number. We can't afford to pay for the test. So the numbers you see are ridiculously small because they are not testing. People are not so smart either. They are currently clamoring that the hunger is more worse than the COVID case because they've never seen a contagious illness before. Again, it was brought by the Western world. It is not originating from the continent, but rather imported. So our story is a story of people that have lost their way. Our story is also a story of some collaborators from amongst us. That's the truth. Some Africans have collaborated with the Western world, just like some indigenous people are still not coming forth and not speaking louder. So the call for us to press the reset button is timely. The call for us to, by Jim, to have an all-inclusive council that will have the feminine spirit. The feminine spirit is the spirit of sustainability, is the spirit of regeneration. It is timely. The time for us to allow our elders begin to draw policies is key. The time for us to, you know, collaborate with those partners that truly want to work with us is fundamental. The time for us to discuss with our young ones who will take over from the council is also important. The time for us to even have a universal meeting amongst elders from all the continents so that we can invoke the spirit of Mother Earth. We can return and start to coalesce together as a unifying force. I'm privileged to be amongst some of the finest elders I have met, and I'm proud to join the councils of chief in this universal message of hope and redemption. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow. Your words are always like a beacon in a dark night. I want to shift it to our brother Bruce again, if I may. Bruce, a couple of things. I'm curious from your perspective and your people down there, how do we push that reset button? And the other part of that is we keep hearing, at least I do, and I know others are, from so many people, the vivid dreams people are having now. I mean, incredible, vivid. I'm watching heads nod. Okay, we're getting it too. Your people are probably into dreams more than any other people that I know. What role does that play in what we're going through right now?
Look, I think, look, Jim, a lot of the dreams and the knowledge and the wisdom has been there. It's just that the ears has been shut. You don't want to listen. You didn't want to participate. You don't want to listen to the old knowledge and the wisdom. But let me tell you, like I said in the first conversation, if the Great Spirit is moving, you cannot stop it. It'll open the ears of those that are deaf. It'll bring sight to those that are blind. And that's what we're seeing now. So we cannot ignore it. With our First Nations people here in Australia, 500 different nations across Australia, I think we need to take back our role in society, in our communities. And that's about taking back the decision-making of our future. And not just the future of First Nation, but the future of all Australian here. It's about our survival. Knowing that we will coexist together. And that's what First Nations message is saying. We are here, now we need to live together to be able to reach our dreams in the future. It's about walking together with everyone, holding hands, not one in front of the other. And about Mother Earth. How long have we been speaking about it? Just like all the Indigenous nations right across the world have been saying it for hundreds and thousands of years. So now it's a time of change. I think we are now being, First Nation people all around the world are getting that opportunity now to go back and start making decisions and bringing those knowledge and the wisdom to the forefront of the survival of all mankind. And I see that happening, and all you guys are now experiencing that. And I say we live in a great chapter in the world's history. And that's what gives us hope. And I think the answer's in us. The answer lies within us. We are the ones that will change our environment. We are the ones now that'll pass our knowledge on to our younger ones, our next generation. So it's our responsibility, and I think we are here, we are the now, it is us. And I think the changes will come first with our Creator seeing the things that we're doing, protecting Mother Earth and loving each other. It's about the sharing, caring, the kindness of our true mothers that gives us, And I think COVID's, like I said, has been a good thing. And I think Mother Earth is now speaking. When Mother Earth speaks, we need to jump and listen. And I think we are the voices, we are the ear, we are the eyes now for that great spirit that's moving across the world.
Thank you, Bruce. Beautiful. You know, it's listening to all of us speak. One thing that strikes me is this is a totally positive, joyful exchange of ideas. Not that we're not feeling some fear and some anxiety. Of course we are. Look at everything going on around us. But we understand where this is headed, and it's in a good way. As I heard Daniel speak, I just started tingling. We do need that gathering, that global gathering of elders to share our wisdom, to come together, to join spirits so we can do what Bruce is saying and what Charles has said so many times in the past. And we've all said, because there's not a lot of time now. There's no time to play games or just sit back and wait. It's right here. The Earth Mother's saying, come on, you're going to stand with me? And we're all here to stand with her. So I don't know how we do that, but at some point before we go off, I would like to ask all of us to take the feminine energy that we're bringing into this meeting tonight and to collectively send a prayer out, first of all, to all Indigenous people, because each and every one that I know of is under extreme attack once again, being challenged for a last time to make sure they're going to stand up, but also to welcome in energy to somehow create that meeting, that gathering that Daniel's talking about. And I don't know if it'll be in the flesh or virtually or both, but that's something I've waited for probably most of my 70 years, at least as long as I've been aware that these things were going on. And I think that would be such a powerful shift. It might push us off of that pivot point that some of you are talking about and move us into the next realm. So if nothing else comes out of this meeting tonight, and plenty is, that would be, to me, a huge element. Who else wants to take the talking stick on anything?
If you allow me, I would like to say that what my brother from Africa just said, it resonates. It totally does. And as far as meetings with worldwide elders, I'm for that. I've been talking about that. I've been talking about nations meeting nations like crazy. And let me see. Yeah, I want to thank whoever from Norway sent their flag. I do have it now, which makes 92. So we are meeting more and more and more and more people. I do think that a meeting is necessary for all of us, just to be able to help each other in a love, honor, and respect manner. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, I just wanted to say to that young man that, yeah, I'm for that.
Thanks, Charles. Yeah, I totally agree. And in case anyone's wondering, if you're sitting in this circle tonight, you're an elder, because we invited elders to be here. Elders doesn't mean age. It doesn't mean gender. It means people who are in the right spirit. Now, we have our traditional elders, and that's kind of a whole separate thing. Most of them are older, although I've known some that have been very young. So yeah, I mean, whatever elders we could invite in, whatever we do to have a gathering of elders, those who show up will, by definition, be elders, in my opinion. I don't know. How do others feel about that? Anything? Peter?
Yeah, I think we're just all inclusive in our way of approach, and I think we're missing Timmy Barabas from New Zealand. We're missing the younger input at the moment. We had that. So I think we've got to include everyone, and elders are important. I mean, but elders naturally stand out just by their experience. They don't have to say, I'm an elder. you're an elder because you've got something to contribute. It's not a status thing, and it shouldn't be status. And the reason I invited Rob Bates from Victoria, Rob has got tremendous experience in his local community, negotiating things and working through all the storms of community that for thousands, 100,000 years in any community, there's always a lot of storms going on. You've got to negotiate through the shoals and the rocks, and you've got to navigate skillfully. And Rob has been doing this in his local co-op and community in Victoria. And I think we've always got to be skillful, and every input is important. And how do we include everyone? How do we, it's a dynamic process. And you get a storming time, you get a norming start time. How do we skillfully navigate through those processes, you know, whatever group we're in? And I think part of that is just deep listening that we're doing today, deep listening and meditating deeply on what people say, and measured in our contribution. And you know, I personally have valued Rob. Why I asked him today, he's just been through so much of this dialogue and consultation and argy-bargy, and you know, it's a playful thing, and yet it's serious, and yet we need a lot of skill how to navigate through community discussion and whatever the community is. Even in our Indigenous communities in Australia, there's a lot of fire there, there's a lot of argument there, there's a lot of need for navigating through some very contentious issues at the moment. So I love the way we've been listening today and patiently feedbacking and contributing. It's fantastic, fantastic.
Thank you, Peter. And Rob, I know you said you showed up and you were going to listen, but is there anything you wish to toss into the circle? You don't have to. This is free will time.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, look, this has been fantastic for me. I'm so grateful for what everyone said. I think at the start I said I wanted to learn respect. And I feel like I'm back in Canberra. I feel like it's 5:30 in the morning and the dawn's coming up, and Uncle Kev's there and I'm there at that fire that's been burning for 38 years in front of the old Parliament House. And he's telling me things. He's telling me stories. And I'm an activist. So I go and do all these, I want to do stuff. But what you've done today, you people, is you've done something important for me. I go out and look, you know, I want to grab the sword and start swinging it. I suppose that's the male side. But what you've done today is you've taken me back up the mountain and you've got me to look out again. You can go down into the bottom there and do all the stuff, but we need to get up on the mountain. And I think it's the Indigenous communities. And yeah, Bruce mentioned this, you know, and I just want to say a couple more things. I've gone on a bit now. I just want to say a couple of more things. That the coronavirus has made us realise how important community is. Well, what in the hell is community? Well, I think it's Indigenous people that'll show us what's important about community. Community is about the tribe, and the tribe is about the collective. And that's what we've got to rediscover, because neoliberalism has taken us onto this sort of individualism where we're all individuals. but we're all, the earth owns us, as someone said today. So I just want to give one example about this feminine male thing. We've done something important in my hometown. We've formed a cooperative to set up a community hub at the school. And what we've done is we've chosen our board members by sortition. That means by lot, which is a different way than this democratic thing. But what is really interesting is we decided to make sure we had gender balance. Now I'm on that board and we're trying to do creative things for the collective, and if you like, for the tribe. And those women and that feminine influence is actually nurturing our creative energy, and it's enabling us to find new solutions that are not hierarchical. So the two things, we've got to connect to the collective, we've got to have a connection to the collective, which is the tribe. And the second thing is, when we say we're going to put 75% of the land back to nature, because we've taken too much, too greedy, that's when we're really starting to connect back to Mother Earth. But mainly what I want to say is thank you all. This has been fantastic for me, and when in the work I'm doing, I'll walk away from this with so much. I thank you all.
Thank you, Rob. Great contribution. We're very happy you're here. Wow. I'm feeling like I don't know how this would work. I don't have to figure it out. Maybe you guys do. To do this prayer, this asking for unity, this sending out the light to the indigenous people, if the four women in the group want to do that for us, I don't know how you can do that collectively, but maybe you'll know. Does that make any sense at all? Cheryl, you're smiling. Come on.
Well, I can start off. I did a Zoom yesterday. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I did a Zoom yesterday with 4 grandmothers, and we all did something similar. We usually only have one person bring in the 4 directions, but yesterday we all 4 took a turn bringing in a direction. So maybe all 4 of us can just say our prayer and then collectively go around to the other grandmothers. One of the things I wanted to share as we were talking about collective energies is here in Hawaii, the ancient Hawaiians, there were millions that lived here in peace and harmony for hundreds of years. And they had a system that they called the Ahu Pua'a, which was taking sections of the land in a pie shape from the top of the mountain down to the coast of the sea. And everyone that lived in each one of those Ahu Pua'as took care of everyone. So the resources that were at the top of the mountain, like firewood and the different types of herbs and medicines that grew up there, they would collectively come down to the sea, and everyone that gathered and harvested from the sea, they would all gather together monthly, and they would celebrate, and they would share the barters from their collective areas of those Ahu Pua'as. Everyone was always thinking about the well-being of everyone else in those systems. And that's what we've gotten away from. Everyone has become so me oriented. It's like, how many houses can I have? How many toys do I need to make me happy? I'm living in riches, and my next door neighbor is barely able to eat. So I just wanted to say to Rob that I understand what you're sharing there, and the system here they're starting to bring them back. The Ahu Pua'as they're putting the signs up where they used to be. The energy is there. Since COVID-19, people have gotten together and started groups called Maui Helping Maui, and they're building small gardens out of recycled pallets and things like that, so they can, and they're getting back into, and the younger generations are getting back into that. With that being said, I'd just like to say thank you, Creator, for allowing us to get together from all around this world. It's one small planet in your eyes, and we are all a small part of it, but collectively we can bring such growth and change and healing. And thank you for allowing us to be able to share the wisdom and the knowledge that we have with one another. We are so grateful for the nurturing of our mother, and we are honoring the sacred mother energies today. But we also honor the sacred brothers, because it is the two energies together collectively as one that makes the whole, and that is where the healing begins. We thank you for the bounty and the blessings, and we pray that all of our brothers and sisters will be protected from whatever trials and tribulations we are going through. And we pray that as we talk and open our hearts, that we can collectively see that this is not a disaster that we're looking at, that this is an opportunity for us to open up our hearts and our eyes and our minds to be able to see a broader scope, a higher vision from the eagle's point of view. We thank you humbly for everything that you've given to us, and we pray that you keep protecting us with your grace and your mercies. Aho.
You, Cheryl. What was coming to me, your beautiful description of the pie shape and the caring for each other. I was thinking of, we always say, oh, we don't want hierarchy, but we want a circle in the way we share in community. But I love what the dolphins do, our brothers and sister dolphins. They, what they call a fluid hierarchy. It's like they're in a circle, they're all equal, but whenever one of them has a skill that's called for, like hunting tuna or something, they go forward into leadership and the others follow. And there's a philosopher, Ken Wilber, who used a term, sapiential authority. And we've been giving people authority by, I don't know, their degrees or how much money they have or things like that. And that way of granting authority or owning authority is through what you know. Sapiential means, you know, wisdom or knowing. And the dolphins do that. They let the one who knows the most about that particular thing move into leadership, and they all support. And I've been holding that as also another model that I was moved by. And when you spoke about the different directions, Cheryl, I immediately went to the West, and I felt myself in the West. So I was just right now called to the spirits and the energies of the West as the place of coming to stillness, of coming to rest and look back at what all we've done. And I offer gratitude for, and that we all be in a place in our hearts of gratitude. To thank you for all the lessons, all the hard lessons that we've had, all the struggles, to examine and be with discernment, to sort out the lessons, what we want to keep, what we need to let go of, what we need to reach back and reclaim as the richness and the wisdom that is still true today as it always was. And to sit in that place of evaluation, of the pause button and the reset button here in the West. And the spirits and energies of the West help us to do that and to sort out our baskets and to bring them into balance. And again, that place, the masculine and feminine, coming together as partners in this journey and complementing each other, honoring each other's unique gifts. And I thank you for this, and our ancestors, I know in the West, can help us inspire us and support us. You have, I feel that you have our backs. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Spirits and energies of the West and Great Spirit, thank you. Mother Earth, thank you for holding us, bringing us to this very, very crucible time and this edge where we may redirect ourselves into the right path, into the sacred path again. Aho.
Had a feeling that was going to happen, Jim. I'm hesitating only because I am so new to this and I'm not really sure exactly how to do this, but I'm just gonna say what's on my heart. And that is, again, gratitude for being here, first of all, and just everybody's shares has been impactful in so many different ways. And Maya, I just really related to what you were saying, and Cheryl, I'm not sure, I didn't hear if you picked a direction, but I'm very much feeling, I believe it's east is the beginning, if I'm correct. So that's definitely very much where I'm feeling energetically right now, and in general right now. I feel like I'm very much at the beginning of things, so I want to I guess call that in. And I'm praying for a lot of what we've already heard, the balance between the masculine and the feminine, that women are really feeling, hearing the call and really stepping up and really are just being who they are. And the same for men as well, because I feel like in this whole change and things and these different theories coming up, I feel like men have changed as well and adapted also in a way that's not necessarily serving them. So I so hope for balance in that arena. And as well, what I'm very passionate about is this particular balance with Earth Mother and balance with nature. That is just so key right now. I mean, we're seeing so many areas where there could be massive improvement and massive help and massive healing. And I do pray for wisdom for people to understand that and to know that that is what we're needing to focus on right now. And for the courage for people to step up and to speak and to do what they need to do, whatever area that is that they're feeling called to do. And communities coming together and acting together as one. And I love what you were sharing, Maya, about the dolphins. I didn't know that about dolphins, and that just really touched me. And that would be fantastic, because I think, yes, it's been so all about me, and I. And these last few weeks I've been so sitting here with like an urge of like, this is over, it's so over, we just can't be doing that anymore, and we really need to be completely connecting in with one another. And I feel like if I go on, I'm going to go off on a ramble, so I thank you so much for letting me share and for letting me be part of this.
Well, Great Spirit, Wakantanka, Creator. It looks like the South and the North. The South is the passion of life, the heat, the creation, things coming together, growing. That's what we're doing, we're growing. The wisdom of the North. We are the wisdom of the North. We're allowing ourselves to be a hollow bone so that we can take that knowledge of the ancient ones and bring that in through us, so we can pass it on to the 7 generations to come. And we so need badly to be able to come together and create this earth, this beautiful Earth Mother, sustain her. Allow the tall ones, the tree people, to breathe, to absorb our carbon monoxide and give us oxygen, and allow the rock people to be at their resting places, and the four-leggeds to do what they're doing abundantly now because we're not in their space. They're able to come back and be where they need to be. You know, the winged ones are just amazing this time of year also. I'm just enjoying their migrating time, and they're stopping, and they're just beautiful. The creepy crawlies, the flora, the fauna, the finned ones. I mean, they're all part of this beautiful earth, and we need to just all be together, connect, and be with one with the earth. Be together, do what we need to do in a circle. Allow the passion of the South, the passionate growth, and the wisdom of the North, of all our knowledge and the wisdom coming through us to be able to create what is needed in these times, in these days. So,
Great, thank you. Maybe Charles, Bruce, and Daniel, can you bring us some collective wisdom as Indigenous leaders of your peoples?
One of the things I can say as far as tribal or unity, a lot of the unity within the tribe becomes this common unity. It's community. One is helping the other. In other words, you can be as a chief if you're called to be, but you're not as important as the smallest one in the tribe. We're all equal. That common voice that everyone has a voice, and how that focuses is that we help each other. It is common and commonly known that we cannot speak of certain, prophecies without actually seeing these things come to pass sometimes. And I'm seeing a prophecy coming to pass by sitting in this circle right now. And that is how Creator has made everything on this planet. The black, everything here is like this here. It's the circle of life here. And with all this in this circle, if any part of this circle is gone, like the water is bad, or any part of this life is gone, the circle of life is broken. And I am happy for myself, my brother, and my sisters, and my brothers on this show. I want to say that I am honored to be able to sit with such powerful women that I hear and stand with you. Keep my heart with you. One mind, one heart, one spirit. Because we're all children of the Creator, no matter what color you may be. Color means nothing. We're all the human being. And we are all related. And I cannot say hello, my relations, if I didn't believe that we are all related. But I say that because I know we are. It's a tribal understanding that the elders have the wisdom, the children of the next generation, but the women are life givers. Without you, there would not be me. Without my mother, there would not be me. And I respect and love all of you. I thank you. And I wanted to put for the male and the female, we're learning. We're learning. We're healing with each other because men and women have both been hurt in this time. but we're coming together to heal that hurt and to walk upon this earth with everything that's going on hand in hand. And we stand for each other. So that is the main important thing. Now, the main important thing also, like I always say to my young warriors that are out there with this climate change or anything going on, always remember, stay humble with yourself with what you're doing. But as the earth goes, so goes all life. So we're here as protectors and caretakers of the Earth Mother. So as the earth goes, so goes life. But we, and I'm going to say this one more time, we do not own the earth. No one owns this earth. Because in the end, she owns you. So,
Aho. Before I turn it over to Bruce, for those who hadn't read the thing, and for people who are listening, Daniel's wife had a baby yesterday, and still he showed up to be here for this circle. So much love to Daniel and his wife and the new one. Don't know if I'd have done that. Bruce?
Can you hear me now? Look, just a word of encouragement. This is the second time we've met. I just want to say that, look, thanks, Jim. I mean, I can see the essence, the remedy of things in life are now starting to come together. I can see the knowledge and the wisdom are now coming to pass. Like I said, it's a wonderful time to be alive now because we see it's been a small step. I know I've only joined, it's the second time we've been here, but we've taken one giant step forward. And I think it's a part of our healing. It's a part of the healing around in our communities as well. And I think after today, I feel a big burden lifted. A lot of those stuff that's burdened us over years. By coming together and talking about it is the answer. It's our healing. It's a healing for Mother Earth. It's healing for our next generation. And I think these last two meetings we had, it's been a pleasure to be a part of this great circle. I think there's more to come. I think we've been put together for a purpose and a plan. And I just say that there's hope and we can see a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we are that guiding light now for our next generation.
Beautiful, thank you. Brock, how about a parting thought or prayer or package of wisdom?
I, like my brother Jim, have followed many teachings over this and prior lifetimes. One teaching I follow is of the Star people, Northern Canada, the Cree, my relations. And I observe and honor all those prophecies that we see coming right now. With this new world that began. And we're in that new world since 2012. And so I guess I could just bottom line it and say, we're the ones we've been waiting for. And the beauty that's on the threshold of a new world coming is the energy that we, each one, is willing to invest in co-creating that new world. Because no man can put asunder the laws and the wishes of the great creator. And I just want to acknowledge that all this false evidence appearing as real, the systemic and structured fear within our society, makes me want to choose whether I want to be scared or be lighthearted and loving. And if I'm gone at midnight tonight, I was lighthearted and loving by choice. And that's where I stand as a warrior. And I'm humbled by all your sharings today. I always learn a snippet and a piece and even more from each and every one of you. So I'm honored to sit with you in this circle. It is we, not I. And I'm out with that. Uh-oh.
Aho. Peter or Rob, anything you want to put in, or are you complete?
I just want to thank you for inviting me. And it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Aho. Well, let's have Sue. Are you going to take us out then with the flute?
You have any last words, or do you want to speak after I play?
I guess if everybody's complete, I'm good. This is such a powerful, you guys have all said it. There's not much left to say here. This has been an incredibly powerful circle. I feel, when Bruce was just speaking, yeah, I just felt that in my heart. This is just the beginning of something. I hope you all stay connected, but we each need to do whatever we need to do right now. This recording will go out, and I'm sure it'll even go further than the last one, which went a lot more places than I anticipated. We're shining a light and welcoming in, and that I'm thankful for. And I thank each and every one of you, because it was the 11 people who were here tonight who made this happen. It's definitely, as many of us said, it's we, not I. There's no more I. The I's done. Can't sustain I anymore. So thank you. And thank you to everyone who listens and share it around.
Background noise back there.
Thank you all. See you again soon.
Guys.